The story begins inside a spaceship, where we meet a young boy named Willie. Willie lives on the ship along with his mom and dad, helping them with their work. The spaceship is filled with high-tech devices and advanced gadgets, and Willie is already very familiar with them. Soon, Willie starts playing a video game called Flash Rider, but his mom arrives and turns the game off. She tells Willie that after breakfast, he needs to help his dad in the storage room. Willie insists on going with his mom instead, but she gently refuses and heads to the lab. Inside the lab, Willie's mom is working on an antidote. Willie's dad has been infected by a poisonous alien plant, and the antidote is the only cure. Suddenly, Willie enters the lab and accidentally comes into contact with the poisonous plant. Right away, colorful hair starts growing all over his body. Seeing this, his mom quickly gives Willie the antidote, which removes the poison and turns him back to normal. His dad is in the kitchen, preparing breakfast for everyone. With his hair completely tangled, Willie gives him the antidote, and as soon as his dad drinks it, he becomes normal again. That's when Willie's dad reveals some important news. Today is their last day on the spaceship, because their mission is finally complete. They have finished collecting samples and photographs of creatures from another planet. Later, we see Willie's dad working on alien samples and photos. Willie comes to help him, and trusting his son, Willie's dad gives him the task of taking pictures of the samples. After that, his dad leaves to join Willie's mom, but as soon as they leave, Willie gets distracted and starts playing games again. Meanwhile, Willie's mom notices that Willie's dad is alone and asks why he left Willie by himself. Willie's dad explains that Willie is 10 years old now and can take care of himself. Suddenly, danger strikes. A massive meteor shower begins heading straight toward the spaceship. Willie's mom activates the shield system to protect the ship, but the meteors are too many. The shield starts to break apart. Inside the ship, Willie is thrown around violently. Willie's dad rushes to the storage room to find him, but Willie isn't there. He quickly contacts Willie and tells him to come to the bridge. Willie tries to reach the bridge, but because the shield has failed, the doors lock automatically. Willie's dad realizes the doors won't open anymore. He tells Willie to enter an escape pod so he can stay safe. Willie climbs into the pod just in time. Moments later, the spaceship is hit by a meteor and completely explodes. Seeing this, Willie is heartbroken, but then Willie hears his parents' voices one last time. They tell him that they are separated for now, but they will find him soon. Until then, he must follow the pod's instructions. Soon after, the escape pod lands on an unknown planet filled with strange and unusual creatures. That's when a robot named Buck appears. Buck was programmed inside the pod to protect Willie. After scanning Willie, Buck introduces himself as his personal survival robot and promises to help him survive on this planet. Buck analyzes the planet's atmosphere and detects oxygen, so he unlocks Willie's seatbelt. As Willie steps outside, he tells Buck that he wants to go back to his mom and dad. Buck explains that the escape pod cannot travel between locations because it is only designed for emergency landings. Worried, Willie asks how he will ever reach his parents. Buck reassures him. He explains that when a space traveler is lost, multiple probes are sent to search for them. The pod's transmitter is sending a continuous signal, and when a probe passes near the planet, it will relay that signal to nearby ships. Once that happens, the rescue process will begin. Hearing this, Willie feels hopeful. He believes that soon he will find his way back home. Next, Buck unloads all the food supplies from the escape pod, but Willie is still feeling sad and lonely. Seeing this, Buck gives Willie a discovery kit to cheer him up. Using the gadgets inside the kit, Willie finally starts having some fun. At the same time, Buck charges a new backup battery and keeps it with him. Willie takes out a laser light gadget and starts playing around with Buck. Soon after, he eats some Choco Crunch snacks, which makes him really happy. Then Willie pulls out a camera from the discovery kit. He starts taking pictures of creatures that look like rocks, because he wants to become an explorer like his mom and dad. But suddenly, those rock-like creatures reveal their true form. They turn into rock monsters, smash the escape pod, and attack Willie and Buck. Both of them quickly run and hide, but in the chaos, the retrieved transmitter and backup battery are left behind. Using his hand gadget, Buck manages to bring them back, but now, all the rock monsters wake up one by one and start chasing them. Willie and Buck try to escape, but the monsters almost catch Willie. To save him, Buck transfers himself into bike mode, gives Willie the backup battery, and speeds away with him. During the escape, the backup battery slips from Willie's hand and falls. Buck manages to protect Willie and takes him into a tunnel, but the battery is lost. Inside the tunnel, Buck switches back to normal form. He installs the retrieve transmitter into his own body so it can recharge. After checking the surroundings, Buck tells Willie to come out of the tunnel. Buck's main mission is to keep Willie safe. Once outside, Buck explains that until they find a rescue probe, they must survive on this planet by arranging food and shelter. That night, Willie falls asleep while looking at the sky, hoping hoping to see a probe. Buck checks his programming system and also enters rest mode. The next morning, Willie tries to take pictures of nearby creatures, but Buck grabs him and throws him away from danger. He doesn't want any creature to hurt Willie. Together, they start searching the planet for a safe place to live. Along the way, they see many strange creatures, and Willie keeps trying to photograph them. Finally, they decide on a place to stay. Buck gives Willie some chocolate and goes out to scan the nearby area. Suddenly, a small creature runs toward Willie and hides behind him. Moments later, a monster creature and its babies appear, trying to eat it. Willie protects the small creature and helps it escape. Just then, Buck arrives. He lifts Willie onto a tree and knocks the monster down, injuring it. Willie becomes very happy. Buck looks at the injured creature and tells Willie that it would be good food, but Willie refuses to eat it. Instead, Willie names the creature Flash Rider and decides to make it his friend. Flash Rider becomes very happy hearing this, but Buck tells Willie that if he won't eat it, then the creature is useless for survival, and he scares Flash Rider away. That night, Willie rests and looks through the photos he took. He realizes he couldn't capture even a single good picture of a creature, and he feels sad. Suddenly, a small creature passes by. Willie tries to take a photo, but fails again, which makes him even more disappointed. Seeing this, Buck helps Willie take the picture. Together, they capture a beautiful photo of the creature with its entire family. Willie is finally happy again. While looking at the photos, he slowly falls asleep. Later, Buck checks his system and notices that his battery is down to 50%. With limited power left, Buck also puts himself into sleep mode. The next morning, Buck and Willie head out to find a place for their base camp. Unnoticed by Buck, Flash secretly follows them, hiding nearby. Soon, Buck and Willie hear a strange sound. They follow it and discover a beetle creature lying on its back, struggling and making noise with its horn. Moments later, other beetles arrive and help turn it upright. Once saved, the beetle happily walks away with its group. By now, Willie is extremely hungry. Buck picks several fruits from nearby trees and gives them to Willie, but Willie doesn't like the taste at all. Flash tries to signal that these fruits aren't good to eat. Then Buck picks another fruit, but its sticky juice causes him to get stuck to the tree. Willie tries to help, but the branch breaks, and he slips and falls into a pond. Flash jumps in after him. Both of them laugh and feel happy together. Flash then gives Willie some juicy grapes, which Willie really enjoys. Soon, Buck frees himself from the tree and joins them, but as soon as Flash sees Buck, he runs away. Willie gets upset with Buck and walks away from him. Seeing Willie's sadness, Buck hugs him to make him feel better. Willie tells Buck that they've been on this planet for a long time now, but no one has come to rescue them yet. Buck calmly reassures him that they will return to their planet very soon. After that, they start collecting wood to build their base camp. Suddenly, Flash secretly calls Willie from the bushes, signaling him to take a photo of the beetle. Willie makes an excuse and tells Buck that he remembered something important that might take a long time. Then he quietly leaves. Willie and Flash approach the beetle and take its photo, but the camera flash scares the beetle, causing it to fall and break its horn. Unable to make sounds anymore, the beetle looks helpless. Feeling guilty, Willie ties the horn back using a rope. The beetle becomes happy and walks away. Flash then takes Willie to a beautiful pond where they play and have fun together. Meanwhile, Buck searches everywhere for Willie. When he finally finds them, Buck uses his hand gadget to pull Willie back toward him. Flash escapes again, hiding in the bushes. Buck tells Willie that to protect him properly, he needs to know everything Willie is doing. Willie apologizes, but suddenly, Willie accidentally touches a poisonous plant. Seeing this, Flash immediately runs off to find the antidote, knowing that the poison could kill Willie. Willie's body starts turning green, and he collapses. Buck scans Willie's infected hand and starts searching urgently for the antidote plant. As the poison spreads, Willie's heartbeat begins to slow, and he loses consciousness. In his dream, Willie meets his mom and dad. He shows them photos of many creatures, and they proudly tell him that he has become a great explorer and can survive on his own. Then they leave in a pod, drifting away into space, and Willie feels lost and alone. Back in reality, Flash returns just in time. He crushes the antidote plant and pours its juice into Willie's mouth. Willie's life is saved. After this, Willie and Buck prepare to move on. Seeing Flash's bravery, Buck finally allows Flash to stay with them. Flash is overjoyed and happily joins their journey. The next morning, Flash transforms into an egg, entering a metamorphosis process. But soon after, he hatches and starts playing with Willie again. With Buck's help, Willie collects many amazing photos of different creatures. Together, they build a beautiful base camp. Willie and Buck gather fruits for food, but Flash shows up and eats all of them. Buck then plays with Flash using a laser light, and everyone laughs. Suddenly, dark clouds cover the sky. They hide inside the base camp. Flash signals them to follow him, but before they can understand, heavy rain begins. All the plants around them pull themselves into protective shells. Soon after, giant hailstones start falling, destroying their base camp. Willie and Buck run to find shelter, but the hail becomes more intense. To protect Willie, Buck activates his protective shield. The shield drains Buck's battery rapidly, but Buck saves Willie's life. The next morning, everything returns to normal. Soon, Flash comes back to Willie. That's when Buck tells Willie something serious. furious. Buck explains that activating the protective shield drained almost all of his power. To keep the transmitter running, he must enter power-saving mode, which means going into full sleep mode for a long time. Willie panics and tells Buck that he can't live without him, but Buck gently explains that Flash will take care of him now. Flash knows this planet very well and will help Willie complete his mission, so Willie won't be alone. After saying this, Buck shuts himself down. Willie becomes heartbroken. To protect Buck from damage, Willie carries him into a tunnel and leaves him there safely. Later, Willie notices the power battery through his camera device and decides to go get it. Flash tries to stop him, but Willie doesn't listen. Seeing this, Flash runs ahead to retrieve the battery himself. Suddenly, a rock monster wakes up and attacks Willie. Willie barely escapes and runs back into the tunnel. Meanwhile, Flash is being chased by the monster. During the escape, the monster gets injured and Flash falls down, badly hurt. Seeing Flash in danger, Willie rushes in, saves him, and brings him back into the tunnel. Carrying the injured Flash, Willie heads toward the forest, but he is exhausted. While walking, Willie falls into a deep pit. He tries to climb out using his gadgets, but the hanger pulls down rocks as well. Trapped and helpless, Willie starts calling for help. Feeling sad and alone, he notices the broken horn of the beetle. Using the horn, Willie makes a loud sound. Soon, many beetles arrive, but when they see Willie, most of them leave. However, one beetle stays behind. This beetle recognizes Willie, the same one whose horn Willie once fixed. The beetle helps Willie climb out of the pit. Willie is extremely happy and meets the beetle again. From that moment, they become friends. Willie and Flash return to Buck. Willie tells Buck that he will continue exploring the planet with Flash, while Buck keeps sending rescue signals. Willie then starts missing his mom and dad deeply. The story jumps ahead 10 months later. Flash has grown much bigger. Willie and Flash race across the planet together, enjoying their adventures. They hide and try to take photos of different creatures, but the creatures run away. So Willie and Flash split up to search for them. While riding, Willie chases one creature. Suddenly, a rock begins rolling toward a group of small creatures. Without hesitation, Willie uses his arrow to stop the rock, saving them. Moments later, Willie crashes into a tree while riding. Flash quickly reaches him. Finally, Willie manages to take the creature's photo. Both Willie and Flash feel proud and happy. That night, Willie sits with Flash, looking at their growing collection of photos. The two of them eat popcorn together and slowly fall asleep. Suddenly, Flash wakes Willie up. He has spotted a probe flying across the sky. Using his camera, Willie confirms it. He immediately tells Flash that they need to go to Buck, but at that moment, Flash enters another metamorphosis phase. So Willie has no choice but to go to Buck alone. When Willie reaches Buck, he realizes Buck's battery is completely drained. Without power, Buck can't send a signal to the probe. Willie makes a brave decision. He decides to retrieve the power battery, even if it means facing the rock monsters again. Preparing himself for danger, Willie calls the beetle for help. Riding on the beetle's back, Willie enters the rock monster's territory, where the battery was lost. He tells the beetle to hide and quietly sneaks toward the battery. Just as Willie pulls the battery out of the ground, a broken piece of the escape pod falls, and all the rock monsters wake up. They rush toward Willie. Willie uses fire from his gadget to scare them away, but the gadget runs out of gas and shuts down. With no other option, Willie runs for his life. The beetle rushes in to save him, and Willie climbs onto its back. They try to escape, but a rock monster attacks and knocks them down. The power battery falls to the ground. Willie stands his ground and tries to fight back, but the rock monster throws him into the air, ready to eat him. At the last second, Flash appears and saves Willie. Both of them are overjoyed. Willie asks Flash to find the power battery. Meanwhile, Willie climbs onto a rock and uses his camera to project laser images of the rock monsters onto each other. Confused, the monsters crash into one another and are destroyed. However, one rock monster chases Flash. Willie rushes to help and shoots the monster with his arrow, knocking it down. As more monsters begin approaching, Willie uses his gadgets to trap them and take their photos. Then Willie and Flash rush back to Buck. Willie installs the power battery inside Buck, and Buck powers back on. Buck is happy to see them. Moments later, the probe finally detects their signal. A retrieval pod is scheduled to arrive within 24 hours. Willie is filled with joy. The next morning, Willie starts collecting special items and memories to take back home. Soon, the rescue pod arrives. Willie says goodbye to the beetle and heads toward the pod, but Flash doesn't want to leave. He loves his planet and chooses to stay behind. Willie becomes emotional. Buck urges Willie to board the pod. Willie hugs Flash one last time and promises that he will come back someday. Flash watches happily as Willie leaves. The pod carries Willie and Buck back to the spaceship, where Willie is reunited with his mom and dad. Overjoyed, Willie tells them everything about Flash, the beetle, and how they helped save Buck by bringing back the battery. His parents listen proudly. Sometimes the universe doesn't save us with spaceships. It saves us with friendship, courage, and hope. Please like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this aren't just watched, they're felt. See you in the next adventure.